Hola, en esta lección hablamos sobre el presente progresivo. We're going to be talking about the present progressive tense. So what is the present progressive tense? The present progressive is a tense that we use to indicate an action that is in progress. So we've been using verbs in the present tense and conjugating them. For example, like yo hablo, él escucha, nosotros estudiamos. And what we're really saying is like I speak, he listens, we study. You can also translate those forms to say that you're doing those things right now. It is possible to say yo hablo and have the intent of I'm speaking. So don't confuse the two, because the regular present in Spanish can be used in a sense to indicate an action that's happening in the present or something that happens frequently or habitually in the present tense. Like I speak Spanish, yo hablo español en la clase, right? That's what I do. Or I'm saying yo hablo español en este momento, right? I'm speaking Spanish right now. So I can imply that. But there is an actual construction that we can use where we are literally saying the action is in process, is in progress of happening. So that's why we call it the present progressive. If you think about the action is progressing in that moment. And we start with the verb estar. Estar means to be. So if we think of it in terms of when we conjugate estar, yo estoy, tú estás, él está, nosotros estamos, ellos están, then we remember that what we're saying is I am, you are, he is, we are, they are. So we have to use the verb estar when we're forming the present progressive. So when they say like, I am speaking, estoy hablando, okay? And then the present participle, as it's referred to, is that verb of which the action which is in progress or being done, and then it has the ending NDO. So we're going to see the different endings depending on the type of verb it is, okay? So when we're in English saying to be doing something, then we're using this particular tense. Elena is studying, Elena está estudiando, okay? We use estar for the is, and then we have the ending NDO. We take off the ending, the AR ending, and we add ando if it's an AR verb, okay? So we're going to look at how we create some of these. For AR verbs, we use the ending ando, as you can see in bold, and we use yendo if it's an ER or an IR verb. So estudiar, to study, becomes estás estudiando, are you studying? Comer, to eat, becomes está comiendo, he's eating. Escribir, to write, you would say estoy escribiendo, I am writing. So we add this ending ando or yendo depending on what type of verb that it is. So AR verbs will lose their ending, AR, just like always, and then instead of adding that regular conjugated ending that corresponds with the subject, we conjugate estar with the subject and we simply add ando onto the end if it's an AR verb. If it's an ER verb, it's yendo, and an IR verb, it's yendo also. So this is just like saying studying, eating, writing. So that NDO is like the ING in English. So let's look at some other examples, okay? It emphasizes that an action is in progress at a particular time. Like I said, I can say yo trabajo, to say I'm working, but when I'm really emphasizing that it's an action in progress right now, estoy trabajando ahora. I am working ahora, coming from trabajar, right? Ustedes todavía están comiendo. You all still are eating. Okay, you all are eating. Están comiendo. Unlike English, the present progressive is generally not used to talk about habitual and repeated actions, nor is it used to talk about the future. So that's what I was meaning earlier when we said that we can still use this form when we're talking about things that we do in general, or also if we're going to do something in the future, but we're not necessarily saying I am going to do that or I will do that, we're just referring to something that might be happening in the future. Like I am leaving in an hour, all right, or I am working with my father. So that's why using that form of ir, using like I am going to do something, and when we say yo voy means I am going, because it is something that we're talking about we're doing in the future, so we conjugate that verb in just the regular present tense. So for example, I am leaving in an hour. I can just say yo salgo en una hora. If I say estoy saliendo, which would be I am leaving, I'm indicating that I'm doing that right now. So that sounds as if I'm in the process of it in this moment. So if I'm saying I'm going to do it in an hour, I'm talking about in the future, in el futuro. So I say, salgo en una hora. I'm leaving in an hour. Okay? If I say, trabaja con su padre, and I'm meaning that he works with his father, like he works with him every day, right? They work together. Trabaja con su padre. What I'm meaning is that he works with his father daily. I'm not meaning he's doing that right this moment. In this very minute, hoy está trabajando con su madre, right? Maybe I'm emphasizing that he's working with his mother, right? Hoy está trabajando con su madre, pero típicamente trabaja con su padre. Usually he works with his father, okay? Or he's working with his father, meaning he does that every day as a habitual action. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, please make sure that you let me know. Just shoot me a message, or we can plan a time to discuss it. Let's look at the photos here. I want you to think about what each person is doing, and I'm going to kind of give you some ideas of what you could write. And we're going to check it on the next slide. So you're basically just going to pause the slide. Take a moment, write a sentence about each one using estar, so you know you're going to use their name, and está. Remember the el, ella, and ella form. So since we're talking about one person, we're going to use está. So we're going to use the name of the person. Por ejemplo, Javier está, and tell what that person is doing. So pause the video, take a moment to write those sentences, and then unpause, and we'll go over, and you can compare yours with mine. You may choose different verbs than I chose, but that's okay. Okay, so let's see what we came up with. Javier está estudiando. I used estudiar because it looks like he's studying, so I used está estudiando. Now, if you used leer, just note that there is a spelling change when leer becomes leyendo. That I-E-N-D-O becomes Y-E-N-D-O. So just keep that in mind, that certain verbs will need to change spelling to a Y, and we're not going to get into that in this lesson, but I think it does mention that in your book, or you'll get into that in future lessons. So in this one, I just use estudiar, and I said Javier está estudiando. And then I said Inés está tocando el piano. Está tocando el piano. You might have said tocando música. Remember that we use tocar when we're playing an instrument. You use jugar when you're playing a game or a sport. Jugar, right? But tocar is to play an instrument. Tocar literally means to touch. So think about, you're touching the keys of your instrument. You're touching the strings of your guitar. You're touching, the keys of the piano. So the drums, right? So tocar is used when you play an instrument. Linda y Manuel. Okay, this one is two, so I guess we would use a different form, right? We're going to need to say Linda y Manuel están bailando. Now, if you said Linda está bailando y Manuel está bailando, or Linda está bailando con Manuel, esto es correcto. But if you describe them as both they are dancing, you're going to need to say están bailando, for they are dancing. Después, Esteban está viendo la tele. Está viendo la tele. Viendo from there, right? There, to watch, to see. Viendo la tele. Alfonso está cocinando. Alfonso is cooking. Octavio está levantando pesas. He is lifting weights, right? Está levantando pesas. You might have said, está haciendo ejercicio. That would work too. And then Andrés. Andrés está jugando al fútbol. Remember, jugar is used when playing a sport or a game, whereas we said tocar is for an instrument. Andrés está jugando al fútbol. He's playing fútbol. All right, y esta concluye la lección. If you have any questions about this, again, please reach out to me. I'm happy to go over this in a little more detail with you. The key points to remember is that with this particular tense, you are talking about an action that is taking place in progress at this moment or at a particular moment in the present tense. You will always use the verb estar as your helping verb. Conjugate the verb estar, meaning am, is, are, am is or are. And then you're going to take that verb, whatever the action verb is, whatever's being done, whatever action it is, drop the ending and add either ando for AR verbs or yendo for ER and IR verbs. Okay, adios, hasta luego.